What it is, folk, it's your homeboy First, back again with another episode of the realest, most entertaining sports show in the game. Put it on some. I'm happy to have a special guest here with me for this episode. Y'all have seen him in spots, you feel me? But he gonna be here with me for damn near the entire episode. And this brother here is really the person I was arguing about when it comes arguing sports with before I ever met my brother Tim G. Jacob and my brother JoJo. I met him the same year I met my brother Ray Caesar Leo, but my brother Ray Caesar Leo in a grade above me. You know what I'm talking about? So this son bitch that y'all about to see right here, me and him have had many arguments about numerous sports topics. And usually I'm the one that's right, America. Okay. But he, of course, would say otherwise. He is undoubtedly the number one Laker hater, but we're not going to get into all that, okay? I ain't finna fuck up my mental health right now, talk about no Lakers, okay? But I'm happy to have my brother, Stanley, here with me. Stanley, what the business here, dog?
Oh, man, it's wonderful. Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it. But first, I got to do this thing. I got to apologize to the world. Last time I was on with PT, Pretty Thaddeus, and Tim G. Jacobs and yourself, I got out of pocket talking about King Richard, man, the movie. And absolutely, I watched it. And I must say, Will Smith did a wonderful job on that movie. And I employ Tim G. Jacobs, when he watches this, to go watch the movie. I just didn't think he can pull it off. So,
well, America, as you can see, this sums up our relationship, America. I'm right. I try to tell him to do right. He pushes back in a strong way. Then finally, when he listens to me, he comes back and says he apologized. He didn't even apologize to me. He won't say that I'm right, though. You see how he omitted that part.
You're right.
You ain't tell America that part, though.
You're right. I'm sorry that I shitted on Will Smith first because I didn't think he could pull it off. Mm-hmm. He's been so far removed since West Philadelphia. I didn't think he can go back to Compton.
Well, y'all see what it is, America. Y'all see what we about to get into right now. Before we get into that, got to tell y'all this is sponsored by Statement Tees. That Statement Tees, every t-shirt you wear, make a statement. Go on over to statementteesllc.com and copy some, or go to Facebook, hit us up, and let us know something custom we can make for you. Also, make sure you're fucking with all things IG Entertainment. That's all the shows, every video you see out there, all the EPs that we dropped in the past. You feel me? That's Redefine Real. That's Real One. That's We King. That's All Black Everything. We got more on the way for you. But Stanley, we got a new season of Coach Prime has kicked off, giving America a behind-the-scenes view of the Tigers football program. You know what I'm saying? I think it's, this is season 2. So I thought season 1 was brilliantly done, because everybody want to see behind the scenes of these sports teams, no matter who they are. You know what I'm talking about? But especially when you got such a passionate fan base like Jackson State does, I know that, the fans are happy to see what's going on behind the scenes with Deion Sanders being there and with his ties to Barstool Sports and everything like that. They were able to make this happen. So what were your takeaways from season 2, episode 1?
First of all, it makes me, when I was watching it, like it just makes me miss home right off the bat. So like I've been away from home for a while. People that don't know me, like I've been away from out of the country for better part of like 12 years now, but it just makes me miss home watching that and just watching the people and watching the interaction with the community and all that other stuff.
He won't bring his ass home, America. I keep trying to get him to come home. He won't do that, but we're gonna leave that alone.
But I absolutely loved it. Watching that, man, and just bringing the attention with the NFL people, the players are coming back to the that's around the program, the Terrell Owens, you saw Chad Ochocinco, and all those other guys, and Devin Hester that was there. Just guys around the program. And what he's able to do, what Deion's been able to do, just bring those eyes and bring the attention to the program and helping these young men out. And right off the bat, like the practice field, a little bit my background. I was a ball boy at Jackson State growing up, all throughout the 90s and the 2000s. So
how does that feel compared to what you saw back then?
I've been on that practice field, man. And we all know, like, in Mississippi, it gets really, really hot. And sometimes it don't rain in the summer. And that field would be hard as concrete, and players be landing on it hard. And it just wasn't conducive with what the players needed to get ready for the season. And what they built there is just exceptional. And what Deion was able to do is move that program and that project forward to get that done as quickly as possible for these players, man. That was wonderful. Of course, I love the defense. I love watching the defense out there, and I love the relationship with Shiloh and the cornerbacks and stuff like that. And it was one thing in particular when he was talking to Deion to Warner. He was talking to Warner. He was saying, "You can't get beat on the back shoulder, man. You cannot get beat on this back shoulder because I got to be over top. We're in cover one or cover two. I'm over top and you got to be underneath. So you can't get beat underneath." And just that communication to get ready for the season. And you saw that implemented throughout the season with these guys. Have to get their communication right. And of course, I love Prime getting on his son Shiloh. That was a couple funny instances in there. Because Shiloh's a talker, man. Yeah, he's a big talker, and people don't realize that Deion wasn't a big talker on the field. He'll talk off of it, to hype himself, to hype his brand up and stuff like that. But he wasn't a big talker, and that's why he's always on his son, because he wants him to see the game, wants him to be a student of the game. He wants them to see it, to see what's really going on, and getting your cornerbacks right and getting your nickelback right in position where they need to be. And he wants them to stop talking and see the game. And of course, I love number 45, Aubrey Miller.
Hey, that's a bad boy, man.
That's a bad boy, man. When you watch a middle linebacker and you want to see sudden, you want to see somebody who's really sudden and that recognizes things, and he is sudden, like, reminds you of the linebackers that are popular today, the Devin Whites, the Bobby Wagner up in Seattle and stuff like that. He is sudden like that. So that young man's gonna have a bright future, man. As you saw in there with the struggle with the offensive line.
That I didn't need to be reminded of that. That's one part.
Offensive line, man, is the toughest position to evaluate going forward when you from high school to college, primarily, because you go to high school, you try to pick out a good offensive lineman. He's bigger than everybody else on the field, so he's just mashing guys, and so the technique and stuff like that is not being taught at the high school level. He don't have the technique right and the skills acquired to be moved to the next level, and that's tough to evaluate right off the bat right there. And you see that position group that was struggling a lot with the running game and stuff like that, which I hope they're going to improve on going forward this season. But you saw the struggles that was going into last season rear their ugly head early on in the season at that. And you just notice, like, with that doc, it just shows it's just the ultimate team game, man. It really is. Football is that ultimate team game. You see all these positions that gotta be clicking together to make one good, amazing team, which we had last year. Prime can coach, man. That's one thing I noticed about that. Prime can coach. For everybody who say that he can't, he's just there just to be a figurehead and do this. You saw the way he was talking to these guys and getting on these guys, motivating these guys and caring for these guys as well. And you saw that, and it came out. on that documentary. And that's what I loved about it, man. I really did. I love the message that Prime was giving to those young men out there. I really do.
Right. Great insight. Great insight. You know, this fella here swear he knows, swear that he has forgotten more football than I know America. Okay. So I knew I was finna get all that kind of analysis from him, you know what I'm talking about. But that's very, very great perspective. One thing that stood out to me off top, I got it down in my notes as the number one thing. It's Pretty Tony.
Yeah.
When Prime's homeboy Pretty Tony talked before the team.
The offensive line. He was just with the offensive line.
Was it just the O-line he was snapping on?
The whole line. Just the whole line.
Well, I can see that. Again, unfortunately, I didn't need to be reminded of. You know what? And these young men, I discuss college players a little differently than I discuss pro players. Okay. So I ain't gonna bash them. They know, the O-line play was lacking last year. And it's good to see in the doc that the coaches from day one were saying the same thing that we were saying in the fan base as well, tonight. But Pretty Tony talks like me, America. For those of you that be in my comment section talking about my language, if y'all love Coach Prime loves a brother. His right-hand man is a man who talks just like me. So don't let Coach Prime fool you with all this him saying bull junk and darn and all this kind of stuff. That ain't what Pretty Tony say. And that's not what them boys needed. Okay? Because if we almost lost that FAMU game because we couldn't do anything offensively. Our offensive line played a large role in that. The game that we lost with the Celebration Bowl, again, offensively, we gave up all them turnovers in the red area where the South Carolina State didn't have to do nothing, but they had to do nothing to score. The game we lost to Louisiana Monroe. Again, defense was incredible. Offensively. So they needed that. We got to get out of this I don't know, this sensitive shit, dog. This is football. You know what I'm saying? So when people be in my comment section talk like that, I'll be like, damn, I wonder if they ever been in a locker room before? Have they ever been on a field and heard players, heard coaches? Hell, we had a Christian basketball coach. He probably the most Christian man that I encountered as a child. And he would cuss us the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? So that stood out just because I'm like, yeah, I wonder how my folks feel about that. How do you motherfuckers feel about that? Like you said, though, with Prime coaching, as a former coach, I really been paying attention to that little stuff, okay? And he was doing some coaching. It really gave me PTSD, like now it didn't give me PTSD, but it like triggered my PTSD or something from being a coach. When Prime was up in there, and I know you remember this thing, he was trying to basically get on them about what's your plan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's your plan? And then usually when we coaches say something like that, you can always have at least one of them little suckers want to try to be a little smart ass and say something. So one of his boys talking about what they're going to get a CDLs or something or drive truck. I don't know. He said some career. Okay.
Yeah.
Like you're going to have to really bust your ass. And so Prime hit him with, he said, if you can't give 100% to something you love, how you going to do it for something you like? Bruh, I used to say that same shit. My colleagues, other coaches, you say that same shit. If you got a kid and they say they love basketball, they love football, they love whatever the sport is, they say they love it. But they complain about lifting weights. They complain about running sprints. They complain about doing the things that you have to do to be great in this thing that you say you love. if you can't do this, how in the hell you finna go work at the Nissan plant? If you can't accept my coaching, how you gonna accept this supervisor getting on your ass about something? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So to see that, I was like, yeah, Prime. First of all, Prime going through it as well. Well, see, once you get that coach in front of your name, all that celebrity shit go out the door because these kids gonna be kids. Or in this case, young men. These young men gonna be young men. And the way he responded to it, that was coaching. All youngins need to goddamn take heed to that. For real. If you can't give 100% to something you love, how you gonna do it for something you like? Hell, that was real shit. I also like though that Prime followed through on a pledge that he had made previously to like get these other schools that we face to get their personnel and people more shine. So we saw Coach Simmons from FAMU. You know what I'm saying? They gave him some talk time. We saw the AD from FAMU. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. And we'll discuss. We saw the same in episode 2, which we'll get into. I love hearing Rob J being integrated in it. I don't think he was integrated into season 1. I would have to go back and double check. But I don't. It seems like I don't remember them using his audio in season 1. And he's so legendary, man.
Yeah.
And of course, he's been on our show and appreciate him, love him for that. But we loved him before that. You know what I'm saying? He's just that legendary. So to have his voice in this thing that's gonna last forever, especially with Dion in it, you know what I'm saying? That was big.
Yeah.
The one thing.
Here we go.
The one thing I didn't like. This is just real though, and this is why I'm necessary. Coach Prime is necessary, and what he does and how he get down. But this is why I'm necessary. Okay. In the post show that they did, and I think they're just gonna do that after the first episode. Maybe they'll do it in the finale as well. I know they didn't do it after episode 2, but in the post show for episode 1, Coach said that we don't have natural born givers like other places. So, basically talking about how it's hard to get funds. Only reason I was like, that kind of, made me kind of like feel some type of way. Is because when you compare Jackson State, Alcorn, Mississippi Valley State, Southern, all these institutions to a Florida State, Alabama, Louisiana State, and all that kind of shit. Really comparing black people to white people. And to simply say we don't have natural born givers like they do is ignoring the racial wealth gap. But again, that's where I come in, because I don't know Coach Prime is steeped in history and know all that kind of shit like that for real, you know what I'm talking about? But he is somebody who chooses his words carefully, you know what I'm talking about? But that's what I'm saying. Maybe he just doesn't have that information to know. Like our brother PT, he gives all. I bet you, if you look at a percentage of his money and time that goes to Jackson State, like as a percentage of it, and he one of the biggest donors. But his bag ain't as big as somebody probably giving to Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Even though he busts his ass, he works hard and all that kind of stuff, but it's just where he's coming from. You know what I'm saying? Because they had such a long head start in front of us, and then not only you got a head start, we got all this shit to jump, all these obstacles to try to get to the money. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That kind of gave me pause just because I'm a history dude. I just know that.
You think that was a slight, or you think that was just being honest of the situation?
I think that was frustration. I think that's frustration because you know what you need as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of the things you want for these kids or young men. And you probably look at, you know, where you came from, Florida State, and, you know, not only he played Florida State, you know, as he stated, he had been recruiting for them for years. So he knows what that program does for kids. Like when they had Jameis or when they had Dalvin Cook and all the, like he knows what they do. So he probably looking at this situation and, you know, wanting to level the playing field. And he probably sees, you know, the checkbook don't come out as quickly. The cash don't come out as quickly. You know what I'm saying? I would argue part of that is, well, we don't have as much. You know what I'm saying? That's why what he's doing is so important. That's another reason why I'm going to keep throwing my recruiting pitch out there for him to stay, because now what happens? We got Travis Hunter. Barring injury, this boy finna be in the NFL, be a millionaire. If Prime stays there, now Travis Hunter probably an alum of Jackson State. Now where does his money go? Like when he does his tax write-off, charitable giving, it's gonna go to Jackson State.
Exactly.
Instead of going to Florida State or Miami or wherever he would have gone. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
We started to create more millionaires from these institutions. Now the check, now you got folks that can open up a checkbook and ain't gonna think twice about it because it ain't nothing. I got it. You feel me? So I think he was just expressing the frustration. I mean, I've been there as a high school coach at places where I had an administrator tell me one time, coaches, if y'all want a budget, you better go down there to Black Diamonds and shake some. I've been there. Okay? They had to do these damn fundraisers and beg folks for shit. I know. It's frustrating, but that was just me as a history guy, I think. That racial wealth gap is one of those things that pisses me the fuck off. But that's for a whole nother show. We'll get into that at another time. But the last thing in that post show, I think he's gonna address it later on, is that he said he didn't have to explain why he changed coordinators. You know, everybody was up in arms about, you know, switching from TC Taylor. I forgot the new white guy's name. Seemed like got that attack Bartolone or something like that.
Yeah, just Nevada. That's all you gotta say.
What?
Out of Nevada, that's all you gotta say.
Oh yeah. But Prime was like, I did it because I wanted to do it. I ain't got to explain it to nobody. You know what I'm saying? Again, I ain't feel no type of way about that because I was like, now my brother Stanley says he's forgotten more football than I ever know. I know Prime has forgotten more football than I ever know. You know what I'm talking about? So I didn't feel no way about him making the change. You know what I'm talking about? But I did understand some in the fan base feeling some type of way about that from a football standpoint, not the racial shit. I wasn't down with any of that fuck shit that I saw or heard. And you know, really that wasn't from our fan base that I heard it from. The most I heard some of that from motherfuckers that troll us, and they'll remain nameless. But Brian said he ain't got to explain that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see what we're gonna do. Hopefully the offense does take a step. If we can get that offense to be rolling like that defense will, it's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be tough, man.
It's gonna be interesting, and I'll save my prediction for when we go over this schedule. But America, if you've seen the joint, you know what I'm talking about, chime in, let us know what y'all thought about episode 1 of season 2 of Coach Prime. If you haven't seen it, you know it's on YouTube. You just type it in, you know what I'm talking about. It's through Barstool Sports, you know what I'm saying, which I don't really fuck with them like that, but Prime over there, so I'm watching it. So y'all chime in, let us know what y'all thought. Put it on something. My kids wanted me to tell y'all to make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me across all social media platforms, like the videos, and share them. Did I forget anything?
And turn on the post notifications.
Y'all heard them. And also, visit statementteesllc.com and shop with us. That's Statement Tees. Every t-shirt you wear
makes a statement.